Okay, everybody hop on board the DELULU train one last time. Wow. One last ride. It's so sad. Welcome back to Baywatch. We are here. We're DELULU and proud, and we have so much more HOFAS to discuss today.
But yeah, we have mourning ahead of us as well.
Ooh, we have mourning. We are going to be lodging more formal complaints, and then maybe perhaps letting them go.
Sad.
And wishing everyone peace, including ourselves, that we may never see.
Not a mental practice I traditionally have engaged in, but I'm willing to try.
Yeah. Will it go well? No. But anyway, here's the sitch. We have not finished the book yet. So we may say some fun things that are wrong. Who knows? Mm-hmm. We welcome it. We never clung too tight to facts on this pod regardless.
Right.
And the second piece of that being there will be spoilers for pieces ahead. And so you have finished the book by now, presumably, or you're one of our beloved psychopaths who isn't even going to bother. And so either way, you'll be fine. You'll be great. We'll have a nice time in the cauldron together.
Yeah. It's like first half of the book, fair game, basically.
And I think, Rachie, you're gonna guide us through.
I'm gonna guide you through the tunnels and the caves, okay?
Yeah, we're following your little like breast flashlight.
My breast flashlight.
Yeah.
Yeah,
start it up.
Gorgeous sort of way to frame that. And I'm going to turn that baby on. I'm lighting that girl up, and I'm going to take us through. Nessa and Bryce, they're spelunking, okay? We're spelunking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're on our cave journey, and good news, ladies and gents, because once again, in this episode, Bryce Quinlan is proving to us over and over again, notwithstanding anything your parents may tell you, okay, your art history degree is valuable.
Yes. Yep.
And it does have real life applications, okay?
Listen, you pay that student loan proudly, babe.
Oh, yeah.
Across multiple worlds, too.
Yeah, you might develop an art lens of analysis that is so sophisticated that you can travel to another planet.
Right.
And still clock that art right away.
Yeah, and see people, multiple stick figures dying and be like, this tells the story of a war. And for that, we applaud you. What would we do without you, art history majors?
Exactly.
Did anybody else get at any moment with the caves and the art, Game of Thrones? I think it was the last season where Danny and John are gazing at the art in the cave and it looks like really badly drawn.
I don't recall that whatsoever.
Oh, damn. Okay, well, it was really funny because it was kind of like these ancient carvings, but they were like legit stick figures. And so that's all I can picture is like, it's kind of like Farrah's painting. You know what I mean? Like, I can't picture it being done well at all.
Yeah.
Like, my mind won't do it.
Oh, wait. Speaking of Farrah's painting, I don't even know when this happens, but there is like a moment where Bryce is describing the concept of a photograph to like some members of the night court. And in my head, like, because I was like, okay, honestly, like a photograph doesn't seem like that difficult to describe to people who have seen paintings before. But then I was like, oh, they probably have only really seen like Farrah's like really like in my head, like they all feel like they can only hang Farrah's paintings. And so they're like, yeah, these don't look anything like real life. So it's like kind of mind boggling that someone could like some technology could replicate that.
Yeah, they're used to more of like an abstract, like geometric kind of
rendering. Yep.
Rendering.
So she's seeing stuff on the walls. She's relaying that to the readers. I don't think we need to relay it to you.
Oh, no.
Listener.
No. Certainly not. We're sparing you.
Yeah, but she sees like, the queen or whatever with like all the trove items and like winged horses.
Yeah.
Oh, and she really is. She's living up that Indiana Jones fantasy because she also is like detecting traps in the walls.
She caught some traps.
Like using her art history, her like historical knowledge, and she's like protecting Nesta from them.
Yeah.
I think Nesta respects it, and it's kind of like the two warriors, like, they kind of like nod at each other in a moment of like girl bossy, girl boss.
Mm-hmm. Totally. I just love. Oh, Faywatch mug.
Oh, Boy Boss has a Faywatch mug. So cute. Sip that tea.
We should tell the listeners, friend of the pod, Alicia, made us Faywatch mugs, Faywatch merch, because we don't have it. And it's all of our birthdays in January and February. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And best friend of the pod ever made us merch for our pod.
Because we've been negligent
We have.
in that.
It's on Instagram. Pictures on Instagram. We might actually make these mugs, by the way. And we want to make sick merch at some point.
Yeah.
But it has to be really, really, really sick, like really high quality. If anyone has any leads, please get in touch, just by the way.
Yeah, if you're like adept in that field.
Please. Because we
We'd love to hear
we don't
from
want
you.
like a cafe press shit hole
No,
thing on
certainly
like
not.
a crappy
Never.
sweatshirt that's gonna like pill. Okay. We want luxury.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm not ruling out embroidery, okay? I'm
Oh,
not.
no, I'm with you. Yeah.
And I kind of want it to be the kind of thing where it's like you don't even know it's podcast merch. You're just like, oh, like cool sweatshirt, and then
Yeah, that's like sick.
and then someone's
No,
like,
I told you. I
yeah,
want baseball cap with like an embroidered version of one of the little like silly emojis we have.
yes, with our little prints,
like hot
yeah,
prints.
exactly.
exactly prints.
Yeah.
It's my favorite, obviously.
But we do digress.
Yes.
Digress. We're circling back to the spelunking. Bryce is, following her star flashlight, and they come to a river, a raging rapid river.
Again.
Yeah. This time there's no bridge.
Yeah.
So Bryce is like, well, shit. My star really wants me to go across. Shoot, whatever. And then she jumps in, and Nessa's like, oh, fuck.
Like classic Bryce without like saying anything.
Right. Nessa's like, shit. And so Nessa has to jump in after her. And it's really cold, and they get bopped around a little bit. And then they get spit out, on the shore. Right?
Yeah, as happens.
I'm waiting with bated breath.
You're
Rach.
waiting because
This is where
Nesta says, you might as well come out now. And this is where I'm on the commuter rail, and I am suppressing a squeal.
Yeah.
I'm suppressing a squeal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you're on the commuter rail in real life. I thought this was like the
Delulu
start
train?
of the Delulu
Oh,
train.
yeah, no.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you take the commuter rail to the Delulu Amtrak.
Right.
Yeah. That too. I am on the Delulu train, but I'm also literally on the commuter rail, and I'm like,
Yeah.
and
He's been sneaking.
so
He's been
excited.
creeping.
Because we know that Nesta doesn't have shadow powers, okay? We know who does. And we knew that he was Arund. And lo and behold, here he is, Mr. Azriel himself.
The shadow man of the
As-
hour. I love that Nesta was like, we could have just fucking flown. We didn't have to get wet. I feel like that's like Bryce gets that. You know what I mean? Like they have the same priorities.
Yeah.
But anyway, he's hot. He's here. He's now part of the action. Enter
is.
stage right, baby.
Now, here's what I gotta say. We have had discussions in the past about this Bryce times Azriel. What's going on? Are they mates? And, I was waffling, I was waxing, I was waning. And then I think, like, right before the book came out, I just got on that fucking train.
Yeah.
Dina's on that train, okay?
I know, for sure.
Been on conductress
Yeah.
of train.
No, I'm driving the train, actually.
Yeah.
I'm that little voice you hear that says, you
Yeah.
know, everybody get on board, close the doors.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
We got on, and again, you were on it, but then I really got on this fucking train, okay?
I'm so sorry, honestly. I have caused you such pain that you did not need to bear.
Yeah, I mean, so I just want to say, and we can never get this back again.
No.
But I just want to say the experience of reading this part of the book for the first time was
Yeah.
a
Oh
delight.
my God. So fun.
I was giggling.
I was giggling. I
smiling.
was kicking my feet. I was texting the thread and getting yelled at by Boy Boss to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, because we were
Use those words.
Dad yelled at us. Because we would just text in the group chat, just like, I'm giggling.
I'm giggling. Because,
And
like, talk
then-
about, like, mouths quirking upward. Mouths were fucking
Yeah.
quirking up the fucking wazoo.
Yes. And the other thing, the amount of hand play.
I know.
I just want to say the amount of times in this segment of the book that Bryce and Azriel hold hands
She's holding
strangers.
his hand.
Multiple
She's holding his hand.
Strangers.
times. Okay?
And not like, oh, he's helping her like across like a tough river. They're fucking holding hands.
Holding hands. We're gonna get to those. We're gonna get there. And
Okay,
you know
great.
what?
I do want to say in the meantime, SJM knows that the Venn diagram of ACOTAR girlies and 2005 Pride and Prejudice girlies is a fucking circle, and she must know how we all feel about hands. And so I'm maybe considering what is done here to be an act of violence against me and the other Mr. Darcy girls, but you know.
And I just want to say, I've been trying to do this thought experiment. And by the way, guys, like we do need to process this. Like we need to process this. We need to mourn, and then we promise we're going to move on. We're going to celebrate.
We're going to move on. We know. We get it.
We need to process it. I just feel like we need to get it out on the table so that we can, move on.
No,
with
if you
lives.
don't process the loss, it's going to come back and bite us when we have to watch him, fuck Elaine or something.
I know exactly.
Yeah.
The hands. I just want to say, I've been trying to do the mental experiment of like, okay, can I plug Cassian in here? Can I plug Rhysand in here? Like, how would we feel if
That's
like
sophisticated literary analysis, Rach.
Yeah, like if Rhysand's like calloused hand was like sliding around Bryce's a lot, it'd be like, whoa. I think for the most part, I'd be like, whoa, okay.
Right. Yeah. I would
or
be
if
like,
Cassian was there with just Cassian and Nesta, would Cassian be hauling Bryce back against his chest? Like,
oh my God, the hauling. I thought that was foreshadowing.
I know. Maybe Azriel is just like so sexy that anything and like quiet that like anything he does, we're like, oh, it's sexy. But like, if we had one of our taken married men in here, like constantly if she was holding Rhysand's hand and was like, wow, who did this to you? These scars. It's like, no, you wouldn't
like
be doing
speaking
that.
softly, like at one another. Like,
I just think, what is Sarah? Like, did Sarah do this on purpose?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're being led on.
Right. Like, was it like the meanest wait, what is that called? Is it like the meanest red herring?
The red herring.
That's something else. Red herring.
The red wedding. I guess like the argument that it's not a tease is like, is this just the dagger and the sword kind of causing havoc?
Right.
Because there's like a lot of stuff of like her hand is like straying toward, is like spazzing toward him, but he's carrying the sword and the dagger. And like his wings are twitching, but he's carrying both the sword and the dagger.
His wings are twitching. Right. And so you're like, is it the sexual tension or did the sword and the dagger have sexual tension?
Right.
I will say, in my defense, as sort of a discerning and objective person, that in this book, the sword and the dagger, them pulling and being weird, I was able to separate that from like Bryce and Azriel. I was like, okay, like that's something, but you got that, but you still got all this hand play, okay?
For
You
sure.
do have hand play.
And Azriel, Bryce is constantly clocking him. Bryce could have sworn she caught a hint of a smile gracing his beautiful face. Like, the hints of smiles that she is getting out of this man.
Yeah. And he is not a hint of smile kind of boy. That's
He's not an
the thing.
expressive boy.
Like, we've never seen him hint of smile more in our fucking lives.
Yeah. So I just want to say that. And again, haven't finished the book. I hope this isn't really a spoiler because I don't know it to be true. But I am actually, I'm a little bit afraid now because, listen, we have a tic-tac on this, our discussion of this. Let's just say it did numbers. AKA, it has about 200 likes or something. That's viral for us, guys. Yeah. And by the way, if you're not following us, like, contribute. Please go contribute. Comment. It doesn't kill you to save, bookmark it. It doesn't kill you. It's free.
It doesn't kill you to create 10 other accounts and do the same thing.
Right.
Right.
Again, like, what are you doing for this podcast?
What have you done for us lately?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So we got a lot of comments on this thing, and we did get one comment from somebody who said they're related.
Oh, yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
I don't know if they are.
Fucked.
I
Honestly,
really hope that they're not.
I think
okay,
that would
but like
be fucked.
the only way they could be related is in the sense
Like
that
distant.
like Genghis Khan is related to like whatever percentage of the world's population. Like that's not a real thing.
Yeah, and we all know that the Fae, like, it doesn't totally matter anyway, so that wouldn't like stop. But I'm like, if this connection ends up being that they're related, no. Oh, we should say at some point early in the book, I forget when, Bryce notices that Azriel's shadows are like Cormac's shadows.
Yes.
And she is related to Cormac. So I don't know. Maybe they are related. and I just want to say, even if they're related, that does, like, I'm not walking around gripping like the calloused hand of my distant cousin, okay? That's not something that I'm doing.
No,
so,
that was not written in a related way.
Whoa, as far as I know, yeah. Actually, we do kind of have that problem with me and Mark. Not that we're actually cousins, but we can't really rule it out. Distant. But I can't, I'm not going to say our last names.
For reasons, for reasons we can't disclose.
Yeah.
It could have, like, a mere Ellis Island kind of, like, clerical error could be all that stands in the way of us realizing.
Yeah. Well, that side of the family didn't come through Ellis. The other one did. But that's a story for a different time. Because we have our own sort of immigration stories to get to this episode.
Oh, my God.
Tie-in. Transition. Really good. Anyways,
I don't get it.
Because we have to talk about, like, Thea and them, like, going to a different...
Oh, yeah.
Going
correct.
to the Ellis Island of, like,
now I get
elsewhere.
It. Yeah.
Now... So I think we've mostly kind of gotten our feelings out a little bit. We're going to keep getting them out.
Right.
But as we know, because again, we've finished half the book, we know that Bryce is departing and seemingly is, like, still committed to being in love with Hunt.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm really going to try this episode. I'm going to get my feelings out. I'm going to try to get back on that train, but boy, is it hard. Now that I got on the other train.
Rach, I feel like I'm depending on you. Like, you're going to do better than I am.
Also, just, like, there's nothing like fresh romance.
I know.
Like, that's why Akasif was so good. And there's nothing more for me to plumb in Hunt and Bryce.
No.
Yeah.
I've seen it, you know?
Yeah. Also, because we've been waiting for as romance for literal fucking years, even just, like, the little crumbs of it feels so... I can't find words today. I don't know.
Yeah.
Not an issue on our kind of audio podcast.
I will say, both with Az and just Nesta, reading this for the first time was so fun.
Oh my
just
God,
every tiny little interaction, which we can't talk about all of them. I just really enjoyed it. It was so fun to read. Less fun to recap, to be honest, because, like, you kind of have to just go and read all their cute little things. But, like, every single thing, I'm like, oh my God, it's Nessa. She's talking to Bryce.
Yeah. And they were, like, starting to, like, maybe build a little trust, but also they're, like, making fun of each other a little. You know what I mean? It's like,
and then they keep
really,
tricking
really
each
cute
other,
vibes. Yeah.
as we shall see. But anyways, while we're on the Hunt slander, I need to get it off my chest before, again, I try to get...
We have to like him again? Yeah.
I forgot to mention this last episode, but did we clock, and how do we feel when he's torture, and he's like, oh, he missed, like, Bryce's embrace so much, and then sometimes when he was, like, blacking out from the torture, he'd imagine he was, like, sinking into her, like, hot heat, her hot, tight heat or something.
And I did notice the term hot heat. Was that what it was?
Her hot, tight heat, I think.
Yeah, no, it was for sure the word heat. And listen, I feel like I, for one, you know, I've been through a lot in my life. Have I been in a Sari dungeon? No. Do I know exactly what it might take to get through such an ordeal? Not exactly.
Right. We need some
Would
humility.
I still ever, as a gay woman too, use the word heat?
Yeah, or just like that was like... What?
Yeah.
Because again, with all of the BRYCERIEL of it all, like the Bryce Asriel shippers were pointing out that Hunt was really obsessed with having sex with her in a way that was not.
Yeah.
Very personality driven.
Right. Yeah. Right. And the other thing I will say, just while we are on the topic, is that I'm thinking back to when Bryce is such a spinner of bullshit. And she keeps saying that throughout. She's in the case. She's like, oh, I just got to keep spinning my bullshit or whatever. And, like, Hunt fell for a lot of that bullshit. And, like, there's something about Az immediately clocking, like, anytime she's lying.
Right.
Anytime she's doing, like, he just, again, his lips quirk up and he's like, no, I'm not. And there's something about that makes my toes curl.
Okay, I have two things, and then maybe we should move on to, like, what happens. But, like,
maybe if you let us text about it, Will, we wouldn't have to dig deep into our every emotion.
This is great content. This is exactly why I chilled your speech. One, doesn't he also fantasize about like having children or something?
Yeah.
Like he's fantasizing about his life with
His
children
little
with
winged
her.
children. Yeah. Well, that's
Yeah,
I mean,
what an
that's
incel.
technically
Sorry.
cute,
That's like more
right?
reasonable.
That's like allowed.
I guess.
He's
Yeah, no,
I'm
it's
like
fine.
you.
Okay, it's kind of cute. Somebody's picturing their little cherubic babies with like
Yeah.
his little gray wings, but they have her hair, and I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
that's kind of
that's cute. That's cute. We like that.
But, like,
I like that the only
only
thing he gave them
technically.
of himself was the wings, you know?
Only technically.
Yeah.
And then second, I will just say I have not completely lost hope on the DELULU train for reasons that I think we'll get to. At least from where I am,
Okay.
I have not completely lost hope.
I think you gotta lose hope. I mean, I'm not even far enough, but I just feel like I've seen enough.
I just think we have had in past books, and it happens again in this book, weird little kind of like inexplicable, frankly, tiffs between Bryce and Hunt,
Yeah.
where they're getting mad at each other for nothing. And I'm kind of like, this seems perhaps manufactured to justify something.
Let me tell you, it's confusing me. It's still confusing
It's
me.
confusing
Again,
me
I'm about
too.
halfway through, spoilers, whatever, when they've reunited. Where I am, they haven't boned yet, and they're also not really that they like are hyped to see each other, but they're not. And then they get into some like weird tiff or something. I don't even really remember, but the vibes aren't great.
Yeah.
And that's what I don't understand. I'm like, is this an attempt to build tension for an established couple and it's just coming off weird for us? Or is it actually
does
maybe
hope
is a
live?
sign that there's like a lack of compatibility here if you keep having these random tiffs once you're that fully established?
Maybe the DELULU train is still on the
I
tracks.
can't believe you're still on that train.
You're like the least DELULU by far.
I was like despondent when Bryce left them. I was like,
Yeah,
wow.
me too. Which we need to talk about that as well.
Okay, well, anyway, right now they're in the tunnel.
Okay,
and
we're
they're
in the
tricking each
tunnel.
other.
Okay.
A tunnel? No way. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
We got a couple of wee little trickies. Bryce and Nessa are chatting about the 8-pointed star a lot. Nessa's like, oh, like, what's the deal with that? Because, like, I had a tattoo like that, and then I saw it again, and it was like a vibe, to put it
Right.
briefly.
Oh my God, they had matching tattoos for a hot sec. Almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, / incision star scars.
Right.
Also, her tattoo was about whatever, her like petty little bargain with Cassian that she used to just like make him run away for like a day.
Listen, Erd's got to send her a symbol somehow.
Yeah,
Erd
Erd is
works in
communicating.
mysterious ways. Anyways, it turns out one of Bryce's little fun schemes, trickery schemes, is like she's been keeping her wounds open on her hands and rubbing her blood everywhere because the worm
It's like a shark.
yeah, and it can't see, but it can smell. So she's been trying to lure the worm to come attack them, and it works. And so the worm comes, and she's like, "Oops, haha!" And then the planets like run away from Nesta and Az, so they have to deal with the worm, and she can escape. So she does that, and she's running, and then all of a sudden it goes silent. She's like, "Oh fuck! Are they in trouble?"
Yeah, she's like, I thought they could handle it. Maybe they couldn't handle it. Maybe they're like on their deathbeds right now.
Right. She was like, oh no. So she promptly turns around and goes back. And she's like, oh no, Nessa's lying face down. Oh no. Turns out they got her now.
The trickster's been
Playing dead.
tricked.
The
They were playing
trickster
dead.
got tricked.
Literally
so
playing
Nesta
dead. So
was like
funny.
playing dead. And then, I don't know, Azriel jumped out or something.
Yeah, but it's kind of cute because they're like, you can't convince us you're a shitty person. We're picking up the fact that you're not that shitty of a person, and we're going to use that against you. Haha.
Yeah.
Now you're our bait. Now you're our little worm bait.
Yeah. And they're like, now you have to be the worm bait because we have to kill the worm still.
Which, again, Will, this is typically your favorite line of argument, but sorry, why exactly did they have to kill the worm? Because it felt like Nesta just like wanted to be a bit of a gunner.
Uninhabited tunnels.
Yeah,
They're like,
it's
we're
like-
down here. We need to, while we're
Seems
down
fine.
here.
We're already on a quest. Like,
And it's
go
like
do
the
your
worm doesn't
quest.
have a right to life.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
If, like, Nesta was like, I'm not letting this creature like exist on this earth any longer. And it's like, girl, you've done enough. Like, it's fine. Like, you don't have to take on this
she was
extra
on
credit
one.
project right now.
Yeah. She's like,
which is very unlike her.
Yeah.
we're taking care of this while we're down here. So, listen, again, action scene. Nesta tries to kill it with ataraxia or whatever. It's not really like her flame. It's not really working. So Nesta summons her wee death mask. And Az is like, no, but she does
like
it.
slow motion, like, ah.
Like, no, Nesta, don't. And that's my Azrael impression. But she does, and it's all death, blah, blah, blah. And then Nesta, like, scales, like, the massive skeleton of some other thing, and then she kills the worm.
Yeah. She, like, resurrects, like, a skeleton of a giant old dead creature to, like,
which conveniently was nearby.
Of course, yeah.
Really cute, though, because then she has the mask on, Death Queen stage, and Az, who's, like, kind of pissed, which I love. I just, like, kind of love when he's pissed. But he needs to bring her back. I love when the girlie needs to be brought back. And so he's like, Cassian's waiting for you.
He's like, remember that BD that you have at home?
Cassian's not there to French the life back into her.
Yeah.
So Azrael has to be like, Cassian's waiting for you. He's waiting for you at the House of Wind at home.
Yeah.
Blank, blank.
Gwen and Emery are waiting for you.
And Farrah and Elaine. And Nix, your nephew, whatever.
Yeah,
don't
who
care.
cares? Yeah.
But that works. And she takes off her mask.
Yeah, that was cute.
Very cute. Then, I don't know, they reveal, like, oh, yeah, like, this whole time we thought you were going to go down the grate, so we've just been, like, waiting for you. Like, Rhysand knew you were going to do that, so we've just been waiting for you to do that, and that's what's happening.
Yeah, it's like, okay.
Great.
Whatever.
Sure.
Yeah.
Then they get to a chasm, and they can't fly across it.
Because Az's wings are just simply...
Too big.
Too wide.
Too wide. Wide.
You know what they say.
Load. Yeah, you know what they say.
We
we
do
still-
indeed.
Wingspan.
Still haven't seen confirmation for Az. She has Az zap her so that she can winnow them.
Oh, yeah, that was fun.
Yeah. They get across. My notes aren't great, but I do have this. Like, wherever they're going next, you know, there's always some new, like, little tunnel or, like, little door.
Of course, they're in a cave system. There's another tunnel. There's another thing. There's more art.
Yeah. And then... they were like, they saw something weird. I don't remember what it was. But let me take you to the text. They tensed, reaching for their weapons, bracing for her, Bryce, to flee her attack. But Bryce extended her hands, now glowing white, to them. Oh, Nesta took one too. Okay, that's not as sexy.
No, there's another point where, like, literally she and Az are just walking, like, holding hands, and it's like just them two.
Yeah. And then okay, then Azrael's hand, battered and deeply scarred, slid around hers. Why didn't Nesta's slide around hers?
No,
she
I'm
just
with you.
took her hand. It didn't slide around her hand.
He's sliding into her hand. Maybe he wants to slide into her DMs. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm trying not to make another Magic Bean reference.
Yeah, he wants to see that magic bead. So his battered and deeply scarred hand slid around hers, and light leaked from where their skin met. She could have sworn his shadows hovered, watching like curious snakes.
Yeah. Like curious love snakes.
Love snakes. They're curious love snakes.
They're hovering. Their energy's like hovering around each other.
Oh his fucking shadows are like,
yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
They're hovering. They're creeping. They're sneaking. They're freaking. Not yet. But.
Yeah. Soon thereafter is when I maybe knew that. Listen, when she takes out her phone.
Oh, yeah.
Because they gave her phone back or whatever and shows him Hunt. She's like, this is Hunt. This is my mate. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
It didn't feel matey.
Well,
and I don't know how else to describe it. It wasn't giving Rowan, they can kill me and I'll find you through time and space. You know what I mean? Like,
this is my mate. This is my screen
right.
saver.
It was like, oh, this is my mate. He's cute.
Also, let us recall they've been dating again for like 7 months.
I know.
Like, this isn't like a long-term relationship yet.
Yeah, but like they all do that.
Yeah.
Before they're like eternal, whatever.
Yeah, it's all very lesbian when you think about it.
It is.
What makes you say that?
Not experienced, surely.
This reminds me of the fun phone interlude.
Oh my God, I know.
Nessa's like, when we stop again, can you show me how that contraption works?
They're
phone.
like, she's basically says the inner circle has been like trying to argue about like what the heck that thing is for like
Yeah, it's so cute. We're like, we couldn't figure it out. And then she's like, oh yeah, it holds music. And Nesta's like, oh, like a symphonia. Because like, remember Nesta has a little iPod from Cassian.
And Bryce is like thousands. Yeah, it holds thousands of songs. And Nesta like stops in her tracks. And it's like thousands of songs. Oh, it's cute.
Very cute. Now, a metal star in the wall opens into a door.
Well, yeah, it appears, but only opens with her hand, obviously. Not anybody could open it.
Right. And then it turns out that now all of a sudden they're in the prison.
Whoa, who could have guessed?
Surprise!
Wow, we're so smart.
Yeah.
We got this.
I know, we knew.
Also funny, I do appreciate that they covered like, hey, the prison like is actually like on an island, like pretty far away. Like, did we just walk under an entire ocean? And they're like, no, certainly was a portal.
Yeah, there's a portal.
Yeah, there's just a wee portal. You didn't notice.
I'm like, why couldn't the wee portal take them to like a bar in Valaris? But whatever.
Now, I think perhaps our final hand play that I need to take us
well, let us savor it together before we must return to reality.
Yes. Again, I don't really remember. They're kind of trying to figure out if they're trying to go through like some thing or whatever.
The wards.
Yeah, the wards. Yeah, whatever. His gaze flicked to Bryce, noting how closely she was listening to all that. I don't know what all that is, but whatever. And said, let's go in. He took Bryce's hand in his broad, calloused one, pulling her toward the chamber beyond.
Yeah, and then they're just holding hands for the next, 10 minutes.
Yeah. And then Bryce said, trying to tug her hand from his, you stay here. His fingers tighten on hers, not letting her go.
Not letting her go.
Like, you're not out here just holding hands with people. Like, Bryce isn't holding hands with Nesta.
Right. He's obviously, like, worried. Like, it's, like, also, like, a protective, like, wanting her to be safe. But wait, it's not that... Because she does, like, create kind of, like, a path through the wards. It's not like he's needing to hold her hand for, like, logistical purposes, right?
So I think, like, the anti-BRYCERIEL interpretation is they're not really trusting each other. He's, like, maybe holding her hand to, like... Because there's all this stuff about Azriel shot her a warning look. Bryce kept her face bland. Had his glance been to warn her to be careful for her own safety or for her not to make one wrong move? And she's thinking about taking the sword.
Yeah, but he sees her, Will. Sorry. I'm sorry. This is the last bit of DELULU I get before I have to give in and give up. And I just feel like if you're trying to prevent someone from doing something, there are other more aggressive, less hot ways of doing it than holding someone's hand.
Yeah. Fucking hold her at knife point or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
At some point also, there's something about how she looked at him and felt sad for some reason that she couldn't place. I forget where exactly that is.
Yeah.
But listen, it's tough out there.
Yeah.
And then she tricks him and she gets past the wards.
Yeah.
She's like, look over there. And he's like, huh?
Yeah.
What actually was really funny, she's literally like, oh no, danger. And
Yeah.
She got him.
I mean, look, it's the Dusk Court.
Right.
And as per the star,
yeah,
it's Bryce's Dusk Court.
Right. So the prison is the Dusk Court. We get basically a holographic YouTube video of one of Thea's daughters, like describing everything that happened.
The lost daughter.
The lost daughter.
The one that, like, the unnamed.
Yeah. Whose name is Celine.
She looks like Rhys-Ann's sister.
Yeah.
No matter how many times we talk about this, I'm not keeping Thea straight from the daughters and whatever.
No. Yeah.
Listen.
Ancient Fae royals, they, had the war. They, like, escaped to save themselves. They were, like, really, really shitty to humans. Basically, Bryce is, like, watching this and just getting really, really sad and upset that her ancestors were, like, pretty shitty people. And, like, they, like, fought the Asteri, but they, like, pretty much sucked otherwise in the ways that, like, she knows the Fae sucks.
Yes. This is the new piece of information that we didn't know, which is that when her ancestors went to Midgard, they were horrible to the humans and killed them and enslaved them and shit like that, which we didn't really know before.
Only allied with them after they realized Rigelus et al. Were actually like the same thing as the Daglin, and they were like desperate and needed allies.
Yeah. Celine marries one of a Night Court, a lord of the Night Court.
Yeah.
Right.
But somehow she's still the Dusk Court. I don't know.
Well, it was like right. So they went to Midgard and sort of last stand, whatever. Thea dies, gives parts of the dread trove each to
Right.
Helena and Selena. Celine, whatever. And whatever, another last stand. Celine, like, gets, like, pushed through the portal or, like, steps through the portal and, like, leaves everyone behind.
Yeah.
Which Bryce obviously is mad about.
Yeah.
And you know what? I actually really appreciated this because I was so but I was, like, a little annoyed by how, like, good Samaritan-y she was when, like, the brimstone missiles were hitting Crescent City. But it did sort of explain then, like, this, where she was like, I literally was in an analogous situation.
Right.
And I chose to do something differently.
Yeah.
So, like, what the fuck is your problem?
Yeah.
But then Celine comes back to Midgard and kind of lives out a quiet life as, like, a high lady, but tells, like, her children, like, her son about the truth and, like, the Dust Court and, like, everything, but otherwise kind of fades away and lives, like, a chill life.
Yeah.
And she, like, turned the court into a prison.
Yeah, why? To, like, hide people from knowing that it...
Well, we learn
Right.
shortly why.
Why? You tell me.
To hide the Asteri.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she, like, devotes her life to, hiding the frozen Asteri beneath the prison and planting little seeds of the story so that, like, somebody can maybe come along one day and do something about it.
Yeah, and I guess, like, carving all those fucking wall art.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, I gotta tell you guys, I am so relieved because I gotta tell you, I didn't sort of transcribe all that, and I thought you might be upset with me. But
Rachel,
I'm glad.
you're telling me you did it?
Well, don't hold back from getting one little jab in at least. But anyways, yeah, so I didn't transcribe that. Listen, honestly, I guess if you hadn't for the past 2 years or at least several months been consuming lots of theories and like studying up for this book, I guess that would have been a good like recap. But now most of it is kind of like, well, yeah.
Right. Most of it like has
know.
been covered in like TikToks before the book even came out predicting like what was, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's classic fantasy genre stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So that all happened. Mm-hmm. And that's all we got, I believe, this episode for those three.
For that trio.
Wow.
Well,
still in a cave.
Still in a cave.
wow. Okay, Rach, who do we visit next with?
Okay, well, let's knock one out really quickly.
Yeah.
Which is to say, my only notes for this episode of the Torture Boys is the Torture Boys are being tortured.
No way.
Yeah.
Baxian is chewing Rune's hand off.
Oof.
Okay, why?
That was a tough one.
That was a tough
I didn't
one.
understand. What was the point of
so
that?
He would be free because they're like hung from both hands or something, so he could get like one like free so that he could
get it
swing
out of the
farther to
shackles.
get like the poker
But
that was
how
gonna
is he gonna hold? How is he gonna? Okay.
Listen, I don't think they
with
thought
his
that
feet,
far ahead.
I don't.
With his
but
feet,
then how
right.
would he
I was
hold
like, your
it?
opposable thumb
Yeah.
is like the most important
Because
thing
Rune is
there.
like swinging to grab like a poker that they've been using to like stab torture them with, to like use his feet to like undo the shackles. Okay, listen, I get it. They're in a desperate situation. They don't have many options. Okay, fine,
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah, that's
But because
fair.
he can't swing far enough with both his hands in the shackles, they're like, shit, I have to get one of my hands out of the shackles. The only way to do it is for either Hunt or Baxian to chew my hand off.
Chew my
And Hunt
hand
is like already really dead behind the eyes and clearly cannot take much more guilt. And so Baxian like steps up and he's
Baxian's
like, I'm ready to be
"Let me
part.
chew
He's
the
like, put
hand
me in,
for
coach.
you."
I'm ready to play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I got to really earn my way into this little boy band.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'll chew off your hand.
I will
and
chew
I
off your
thought,
hand.
I am not going to lie. I thought somebody was going to open a door and walk in before the hand got chewed off. But I got to be honest, guys, the hand did get chewed off.
It did.
It did, and it wasn't in like one bite.
No.
No.
Oh, God. That was the worst part.
It was a
gosh.
process.
Yeah.
And
It was a
I will say,
process.
unfortunately, they were not aware that the Hind was already sort of planning out their escape. So,
Yeah.
Right, it was kind of
so it
useless.
was
Again.
it turned out to be totally useless because also like Rigulus walks in or something. It was like,
And like, could
Like,
we have
immediately
had like a
after.
hot sec on the mind bridge with like a, hey, hold tight over there, don't do anything crazy.
Yeah.
You know?
but no,
alas.
his hand gets chewed off, and that's
Yeah.
all we have to say about that. And I
Yeah.
think that's quite enough.
Yep.
Let's zip through this one as well. The Vipe Squad. They're being
Guys,
sad and pathetic.
I really hope there is, I have to say, like, I really hope we learn that there is a reason for all this fucking bullshit.
I know. Okay, Vibe Squad. They're kind of captured. They're kind of being held captive.
Yeah.
The Hind came by to tell them, hey, I'm a double agent. I'm Daywright. I'm trying to get Rune out. You guys have to help me. And they're like, oh, whatever. But they're like, okay,
Yeah.
maybe.
And she's like, mostly I just mean deck. But like,
right.
Yeah.
And so they're like, okay, we have to get out of here. And somehow the way that they're getting out of there is Ethan agrees with the Vipe. He agrees to fight someone of her choosing.
An unnamed challenger. Yeah. I was like, huh?
Why? Sorry. Like, you cannot see my hands right now, but I'm gesticulating wildly. You ask who?
Yeah.
He didn't even ask who. It's not like he asked and she refused to tell him. He didn't even ask who.
Ethan is kind of just the most pathetic. He cannot catch a break.
Everything he does, he fucks up.
Why is SJM doing this to him? Like, what is going on here? So now he has to, like, fight someone to get them all out of this, but he didn't talk to any of his friends about it, even though they were all just yelling at Therian for not talking to them because they're a pack. It's like, guys, let's implement notes. Let's learn from our mistakes. What are we doing?
Yep. And so it turns out, he has to fight Sigrid, the Fendir Alpha.
Well, first he thinks he's gonna have to fight the dragon.
Right, and then the dragon, I don't care, I don't follow it, the dragon
she
gets traded
basically
away.
refuses. She refuses and, like, makes a deal with somebody else to go fight for somebody else, and we have no idea where the fuck she goes.
Okay, but maybe then, like, they have to guilt trip Therian too, because like Therian was like, you can't kill Ethan. Like, she's gonna. Also, this is a fight to the death, mind you. He agrees to an fight to the death against an unnamed challenger.
That wasn't
totally clear.
Explicit.
The fight to the death.
Okay,
but yeah,
and also I'm like, okay, at that point, why don't you just take your chances and break out if it's going to be a fight
That's
to the
what I
death?
don't
But
understand.
whatever.
There's like 6 of you. Yeah, she has those Fey guards, but they're like on her fucking venom drugs half the time. Just do a breakout.
It seems like with Ari, though, like Therian basically has a conversation with Ari, like, you can't kill Ethan. Like, we all love Ethan.
Right.
And that something, basically someone calls the Vibe Queen and makes a deal to, like, take Ari, and Ari, like, accepts the deal because she's like,
and this incredibly compelling character who we've gotten nothing from so far disappears.
Leaves yet again. Yeah. I kind of wonder where she went, but it's fine.
anyways, he fights Sigrid. I don't really want to talk about this anymore, to be honest. He fights Sigrid. He doesn't want to kill her. He's like, okay, I'm not killing her. And then she tries to kill him because she's an alpha. And then he accidentally rips her throat out and she's dead.
Yeah, like she dodges left when he thinks she's going to dodge right, and he accidentally rips her throat. I don't understand the point.
Yeah.
What is the point? One of my biggest pet peeves in fantasy novels, which we're not supposed to get when it's a woman writing it, is when a girlie shows up only to have her death be like the motivator for a boy to do some growing and like learning or whatever. Listen, maybe we get to the end of the book. Maybe he actually does, he's trying to bring her back to, maybe he does bring her back to life and she comes back and blah, blah, blah. And there's actually a point to it. But as of right now where I am, there is literally no point.
Yeah.
And I'm so confused.
Yeah. Don't like it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of all I have to say about that.
I know.
Anything else?
Like, sorry, guys. I don't mean to be, like, ranting about this, but I don't understand. She was such an adorable character, and we got, like, 5 sentences from her.
Yeah, she was so fucking cute. And her name, which apparently isn't really her real name, but also, like, Sigrid, what's the last name? Fendir. Like, she's, like, a little, like, Icelandic... Sorry if I got the wrong country up north.
No, it's like the yogurt.
Sigrid Fendir.
Yeah.
Listen, if you're like Scandinavian, I know Icelandic isn't Scandinavian. I know that's something else. If you're one of those, I don't know which one the Fendir. I don't remember the Fendirs. Oh my god, I'm offending all the Arctic Circle.
We're being canceled
right now.
The Arctic powers, and they have like renewed power over international shipping because all the ice is melting, and we can't afford.
Wow.
Like them and the Iberian Peninsula.
No, but I believe you.
Anyways, so
yeah,
boo.
I just am always like more girlies coming into their power and fewer girlies being killed for literally no reason.
Yeah, so Therion and that whole crew, pathetic bummers. We don't like spending time. Sorry, that's all I have to say.
I want more for both of them, but I'm not seeing it. I'm not really seeing it come to fruition. But at least they have a girl boss bossing them around now.
Yes. And speaking of girl boss, Miss Lydia.
Yes.
On to the Lydia portion.
Thank God. Give me something.
We get quite a couple of scenes here.
We do.
Very menstruation forward scene.
Oh my God, I'm so glad we're here.
We'd missed, frankly. It's been a few minutes.
I know, since we've gotten so much cycle talk. I don't know if we've ever gotten more.
Yeah.
I'd forgotten about, you know, cycles, basically, so.
Yeah, like, lucky you. Must be fucking nice. Because speaking of which, what I want to say is, okay, but let me set the scene first. Lydia has her period. Now,
reminding me to take my birth control. Go ahead, go on.
Take that BCP, girl. She has her period, and it's a very vivid scene because Pollux gets out of the shower. He's walking around with his like huge heavy dick swinging around.
Yeah.
But like not in a cute way.
No, it's flipping, it's flopping, you know?
Yeah. But anyways, he's like, come on, we gotta go talk to Rigelus. He's like summoned us, and she's like, tell him I have my period. Which I
like,
love.
my cramps are so bad right now.
And they like don't know how to, they're like, oh yeah, I guess that's.
Yeah, and he's basically
can't come
like,
to the meeting.
He's like, take your Midol. And she's like, I did. Like, hello, do you even know how bad cramps
hurts.
are? Like, it's not even working.
I love this. I actually think we all, ladies, period havers, we all need to take inspiration from this, because if the Hind can tell the Asteri that she's not coming to the command performance because of her period pain, I think we should all be doing that more often, because your girl is always suffering in silence at work. And
not even that. I just think more cycle-centered manipulation in general. You know what I mean? Like, I just think we're not doing enough to use this to get our way with anything that we want on Earth.
And you could definitely pull that card more than once a month, because like the boyos are not
they're
tracking.
not paying attention. They don't know. Oh, it came early. Oh, it came late. They don't know.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, let this be an inspiration to everybody listening.
Yeah. Pollux, unsurprisingly, is token male who's like doesn't want anything to do with her when she's on her period, and is like afraid of tampons. Which I love that like all the talk of like the Hind and tampons is also just like a wow. Like there are tampons in Midgard and like the Hind's using
we'll
them.
get there, but yeah, the tampon box is everything to me.
Yeah, so so it turns out, so Pollux goes about his business and she gets into bed like a queen, and it turns out she has a burner phone and she hides it in her like wee tampon box because
a tampon box burner phone, like that is high quality literature right there. Obsessed.
Yep.
Obsessed. Will, you know what it reminds me of?
What?
Okay, sorry. This is not about Pierre. This isn't going to, like, freak you out or anything. Do you know how we've been watching the new True Detective? And, like, Jodie Foster keeps, like, finding clues because, like, she's a mom and she, like, knows things about how long it takes for cold cuts to go bad or something. You know what I mean? And so it's, like, it's very kind of, like, obvious girl boss, capital G, capital B, girl power, capital G, capital P kind of thing. In terms of, oh, she's using her tampons as a way to, like, actually be a strength or, like, whatever.
Right.
But I still love it, and I'm living for it every time. Just to be clear.
Love that. Anyways, later, Pollux comes back, and he's like, oh, good news. Like, they're fixing the harpy. They're putting the harpy back together. And Lydia's like, what?
Was beheaded?
Yeah.
Yes.
But they're working
There's
on
a lot. Okay. There's a lot in this book of people being
resurrected,
like very much,
and I'm just like,
yeah,
okay, now it's hard for me to know anything.
Yeah,
well, I know we will talk about that in a major way at a later episode.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah,
as that rears its proverbial head in a major way. That's about it. At some point, she mind speaks with Rune. Same shit. She's like, I'm trying to help you, and he's like, I don't give a fuck about you. You're dead to me. The end.
Perfect.
Not a very uplifting note to end on.
No, but at least she's got a plan, and her plan is in motion.
Yeah, she's working on it.
All thanks to tampons.
Yep. Thank you. Oh, yeah, the burner phone.
Yeah, wait, what did...
Sorry, got distracted. The burner phone is like call Ophian and be like, yo, like give me people to like help me do this mission. And they like don't want to, but like she like was like, no, but like do it. And they
obviously she's like, put your manager on the line immediately.
Yeah, I need to, let's escalate this.
He's like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, doesn't it say she like gets into her like phone voice too? Like she also has like a, you know.
Yeah.
Hello.
We all need one.
You know?
But yeah, Ophi and the rebels who've also kind of completely failed and are not very good.
Right.
Yep.
Are like going to do one last stand, maybe.
Yeah.
We shall see.
Right.
So what happened to what's the fuck? What's her name?
Pippa died.
Oh,
if it's
shit.
Betsy,
Yeah.
she got
Okay.
blown up by Cormac.
Gotcha. I bet they wish now they hadn't done that, huh?
Yeah, perhaps.
Mabes. But at least Lydia got the few people there to agree.
Yep.
Her tampon plan is a go.
And that's where we leave you.
That's that.
So I guess
Wow.
we'll find out. Does she rescue them, or, do we spend the rest of the book with sad boys being tortured? Who knows? Anyone can say anything at this point.
Exactly.
Even though we all do know.
Exactly. So, I think you all know what you need to do.
Yep.
You need to rate.
Yeah, we don't even have to say it.
We don't need to say it, but we will. You have to rate us. Rate us.
Yeah.
Review us.
Yeah, give us
Or
your
just
words.
share it with like a friend. It doesn't have to be public
please.
if you're just sharing it
Or
with a
just like
friend.
find the nearest cave and like scratch us some carvings with this story and then send it to us to
yeah.
interpret.
Wow.
I don't know. Just an idea.
Yeah.
Just an idea.
Love that. Yeah, or that.
that.
Or that.
Yeah.
Until next time.
Okay, bye, BB.
Bye.
Bye.